Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first episode of People Don't Say Words. I am your humble host, Alex, with my co-host, Xander.
Hello.
And Valerie.
Hi.
Anyway, welcome to the first episode of our podcast. This is something I've been wanting to do for a while. I don't know about the other two. The other two probably hate me for this.
I would have preferred to introduce myself, but this works too.
I'm just along for the ride.
Anyway, I have a question for you two.
Okay.
Do you
Shoot.
two like anime?
Gee whiz, I don't know. What is this strange concept that you speak of known as anime?
Ugh, I am as baffled as you are. I have no clue whatsoever.
Is that one of those you don't say Japanese animated 20 to 60-ish minute long media forms with the very interesting line art and cell shading with the eyes that take up 1/3 of the face, is it?
Yes, in fact it is. That is exactly what I was talking
I guessed
about.
correctly.
Anyway,
That's pretty cool. I
if
do
it isn't
believe that I do
obvious-
like the anime.
if it isn't obvious by the title and by the question I just asked, today's episode is about anime, or like whatever we come across. It'll probably be anime and blank. But if we basically stay focused on anime, then it's just going to be, anime. So what are your guys' opinions on like anime and stuff? Like, do you guys like it personally? Are there ones that you don't like? Are there ones that you like? I know that I have my fair share. But as the host, and always forever the host, I feel like I should let you guys have the floor.
I do like having the floor.
Yeah, the floor is pretty nice.
It is. I'm sitting on one right now.
So,
Oh, nice. Same.
so what are your
Anyway.
so what are your opinions? Okay, what is your favorite anime? Like, if you had to choose one, if you can't choose one, then just give me like a top 10.
My favorite. I haven't thought about this in depth before. Xander, would you like to have?
Sure,
would
and
you
my
like to
answer's-
tear the floorboards up first?
Sure, my answer is going to be short and sweet. Either Fate Zero or Fate Unlimited Blade Works. Fate Stay
I'm
Night
not
Unlimited Blade
surprised.
Works, my bad.
I know that Fate gets a lot of shit for having a kind of nonsensical just lore.
Shit's pretty fucking weird, let's be real here.
Yeah.
So what do you enjoy so much about it then?
Well, that actually comes down to very, very many factors. The first of which is I'm a sucker for expansive lore. So, yeah, the weird convoluted lore. Yeah, I don't think I could not enjoy it. So there's that. That's probably the primary reason. I just really like expansive lore. So, anyway, then there's obviously the characters. They're pretty great. I couldn't tell you my favorite for the life of me.
Isn't that the show with the trap in it with the pink hair?
Same franchise, but Astolfo makes an appearance in Fate Apocrypha, not Fate Zero or Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade
So they
Works.
are different. They're not the same.
Yeah. But at the same time, they exist within the same franchise, specifically the same universe. Well, sort of universe. More of a multiverse, but we're not going to get into Fate lore because we'd be here all day.
Yeah,
Anyway.
no. I mean, we do have maybe like an hour or two, so.
Yeah. We could set aside an episode for that.
Oh yeah, no, we can have an episode specifically about you explaining the Fate lore.
Yeah.
Yes, Fate lore for dummies. Hell yeah.
Oh, that's a good title.
So, Val, do you have a favorite anime, or?
Off the top of my head, no. But if I had to choose, quite literally anything by Studio Ghibli. Hayao Miyazaki made up the works of Hayao Miyazaki made up around 99% of my childhood. Yes, that is an overstatement.
I haven't watched a lot of Studio Ghibli films. I haven't seen Totoro. I've seen Spirited Away. I think that's the only one that I've seen. And it wasn't even on my own accord. It was for my film literature class.
Sure.
I still really enjoyed it. I did enjoy it. I didn't enjoy it at first. I think it was just a thing for me where it was like, there's too much happening. I don't get what's going on. I hate it. And then finishing finishing it, I was like, okay, this isn't that bad. This is actually really fucking good.
Oh yeah. Well, My Neighbor Totoro and Spirited Away especially have very have a lot of themes regarding like Japanese folklore, and so to those who aren't really familiar with the culture or the folklore itself might feel lost watching the film most of the time. I know when I was little, I had a bit of trouble understanding some of the cultural context in Spirited Away, like with the bathhouses and stuff, and I was just kind of confused. There was seemingly a lot happening. And now that I'm older, and I know a little bit more about Japanese culture as a whole, I watch Spirited Away, and I can kind of point things out like, oh, yeah, that's, I get what that means now.
Mm-hmm.
And I can just kind of piece together. I don't really know where I was going with that. But I do know that, especially for Western audiences, films, a lot of Studio Ghibli films are kind of lost on Western audiences more so. So I get that you might, I understand why you might not have liked it at first.
Well, I can say this. I watch Fate, so I don't care how little it makes sense. I could probably get into it.
That's fair.
I have a few favorite anime. My number one favorite, I think, I will admit, is Madoka Magica.
Ooh.
I love the kind of cute. I love the dark shit that hide behind the cuteness
of
it.
Wasn't done.
Which makes there was another one. It was a like it, but something is a hero. I can't remember.
Yuki Yuna is a hero.
Yuki Yuna is a hero.
Yuki Yuna wa Yusha de Aru
Yes.
is the Japanese
I-
title. That's one of my favorite anime. Oh boy.
And it's why I love Doki Doki so much, and we'll get into that in another episode. I have a
cried so
very
much.
passionate love for Doki Doki Literature
Oh,
Club.
I know you do.
But one of my number one favorites has to be Madoka Magica, because it blew me away with. It was fucking amazing, and I loved watching every second of it. Especially, fuck? What was his name? The cat's name.
I wish I could help you, but I'm blanking on
Cube?
this too.
Cube?
Cube. Yes, Cube.
Yeah. I gave you a plushie for
Yes,
Cube.
I have a Cube plush.
Cube is my
and-
favorite character.
Yes. Spoilers for anyone who hasn't watched it. Cube is actually the one who creates the witches, and that was a big twist figuring that out or
I
finding
love
that out, and it was
little
just
fucker.
like,
And damn, that is a big spoiler to just casually toss out
Yeah.
like that.
Oh
I
yeah,
know.
spoiler.
spoiler,
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler
Whack you
alert.
across the face. with it.
spoiler.
Anyway,
Spoiler.
Put this after put all of those spoilers after I
Spoiler.
said the big thing.
Spoiler.
Yeah, there's also Euroli in April. I think I put that one off for a long time.
Oh yes. And then I made
Purely
you watch
because
it last year.
her face kind of creeped me out, and that was the only reason why I didn't watch it.
Yeah, the
I
art
regret
style
not
isn't
watching
for
it sooner
everyone.
because it is so good. It made me cry so much. Another really good one that I enjoy is Erased. That one is so good.
Oh, I found the ending underwhelming, like a lot of other people did. I didn't like the way that it ended, but my god, Erased is such a good one. I'd watch it again. 10 out of 10.
Erased, I highly suggest anyone who hasn't watched Erased or read it, like, do that, because it deals us like a lot with physical abuse, and it's honestly just really, it's kind of important to watch in some of those moments, because it's a real thing that people go through, and it's a terrible thing. Luckily we are not a victim of this, and if you know anyone who's a victim of that kind of stuff, please tell them, please be there for them, because they need all the help they can get. What do you have to say in your own opinion,
In my own opinion,
what you think
what I
is the
is-
worst
think is
anime?
the worst anime. I don't really have any strong feelings regarding any anime that I dislike. Not even Boku no Hero Academia, or like SAO kind of sucks. The later seasons, the first arc is
SAO
decent,
was good until
and then it
Elfheim.
yeah. So
was
the first arc,
happened.
so the first half of the first season is pretty decent, and then it just kind of goes downhill from there. But I don't like vehemently hate it or anything.
I heard Alicization got much better, but I never actually watched it, so... It's purely what I
Alicization was
heard.
okay. Alicization was okay. I enjoyed it. It was not the best anime I've ever seen, but it's good. It's an improvement.
What do you
I wouldn't
expect
say a
from
lot
something as
better,
tropey
but-
as SAO, though?
Yeah.
Like, honestly?
Also,
Yeah.
the second season, the second like part to it was just really fucking creepy.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, the
Especially with
soundtrack,
the fact
though.
that the guy was a
Oh, the
literal
soundtrack.
fucking rapist was not okay, and
Oh, the
and I
fucking
hate him. I
soundtrack.
hate him as a character,
Oh, but the fucking
which
soundtrack.
should be the correct response because he's disgusting. But I hate the fact that they even thought about making him a character, because it's just like, who thought of that? Why would you ever think of that?
Well, they wanted shock value because it's interesting. Let's what is the most controversially interesting thing we could shoehorn into our anime? Ah, yes, rapist,
Trigger warning.
rape.
Xander, what about you? Do you have any anime like that you hate at all?
Not really that I hate. I have several that I don't really like. For the sake of example, and it was already mentioned, Boku no Hero. It's kind of tropey. I personally don't like it. Its writing is pretty bad.
I will watch it.
Yeah.
Ironically, because like, I don't like that the writing is bad, but I'm not saying that the show is bad. Like,
also, just saying, $50 says somebody's gonna start bitching about this entire segment in the comments. Somebody is going
so
to.
many people.
I personally can't sit through it. I could, but I have other things I'd rather sit through. So
let's put it this way.
It's just.
Oh, sorry.
I don't think I would ever condemn someone for liking it. If you like it, that's your shit.
Yeah, no, with that show, it's okay.
Yeah, you
which
like
brings
what you want. I don't like it.
Which brings us to the next.
You can
one.
have your Bokus and your heroes any damn day of the week. That's not my thing, though.
Which brings us to kind of the main reason I wanted to do anime for the first episode. I'm so sorry. This is what we are. We are a bunch of fucking idiot nerds.
Why are you apologizing for
Well,
that?
you two are. I'm a genius nerd, so let's be real here. Anyway,
That's going
I'm
on a
somewhere
shirt.
in the
I'm
middle.
a genius nerd.
I'm a genius nerd.
Is the most recent anime that came out from the wonderful people at Crunchyroll.
Oh.
High Guardian Spice.
That
I don't see.
clusterfuck.
I just subconsciously don't even categorize it as an anime. So when you ask me about anime that I vehemently dislike, that one doesn't even come to mind because it doesn't register to me as a fucking anime. But
I
if
register
we're
it as,
going
like,
off
some
the
sort of
premise,
shit
if we're
show.
going off the concept that this curse, this plague upon planet Earth is in fact an anime, then yes, High Guardian fucking Spice is my goddamn least favorite anime.
Oh yeah, fuck
Holy
that show.
Fuck.
Okay.
Oh, it
Let's
is a
give
disgrace.
reasons. Let's lay out our reasons one by one. Okay.
Okay,
Oh.
first, before we do anything else, we have to talk about the lamppost.
The lamppost.
the PNG
I
lamppost.
wish this was a video,
the
but I'll send. I don't have the picture of the lamppost anymore. But there is a specific scene where they are in front of the school, and right next to them there is a literal PNG lamppost because someone was too lazy to draw a lamppost. They put a watermarked PNG into their public show. This is not a meme show. This show takes itself seriously. And they
Or at least
put
tries
it,
to. It
or
fails
at least
miserably.
tries to. And it's a fucking PNG of a lamppost. Secondly, I'm going to let Xander take over with the speaking about the writing, because I am not very well versed in writing. Val, I don't know about you. Xander just seems to be smart.
Okay, I'm not gonna give the long version because I've only actually sat down and watched the first episode. It was that bad that I couldn't continue after the first episode. There are the images, by the way. I went back and dug through our chat to get them. So, yeah.
Ah, thank you.
And anyway, so far, actually, I'd rather we talk about the voice acting first because that's something I can wholeheartedly
it's so
speak
fucking
on.
good.
After you
Okay.
give
Let me
her-
let me take this one then. Let me take this one then.
Oh.
Also, no, that lamppost is ripped from that picture. It has the same base and everything.
Shutterstock lamppost.
It is a shutter. They just covered over the watermarks.
but they did a
Yes.
really bad job.
Oh,
Of the base, at least. The rest of it looks fine. Okay. As someone who would love to do voice acting in the future and currently is doing a special voice acting thing that may be coming out by the end of this year or next year, I am in... Well, one, let me say this. I'm in an Omori fan dub. And I'm very excited to say that I am the voice of Humphrey the Whale and
Are
Mr.
you legally
Jossum.
allowed to reveal this information? Is this in your contract? Are you?
Yes,
are
I'm
you,
allowed to reveal this information. There was
okay.
no contract. It was, hey, you sound good. You want to do this? Sure.
That sounds pretty sketchy. I don't know.
Anyway, as someone who knows voice acting, the voice acting in the show pisses me off so much. There are parts where the voice acting is okay, but then there are parts where the voice acting is so bad, I would like to choke whoever hired the people that to do these voices, and then like graciously pin them against the wall and smack them, because the script makes no sense either. Most of the lines in the script make no sense. Voice acting is terrible for a few reasons. One,
Oh, yeah.
some of the lines are delivered so dryly.
Some of.
Most
You mean
most
most of them?
most
Like
Yeah,
all
I
of
was
them?
about to say, I
are
think you mean
delivered
most.
very dryly.
Oh.
Most of the lines are delivered in a way that doesn't sound like the emotion it's supposed to be. There's a scene where Rosemary breaks the end of her mom's sword, and she goes and she's supposed to be crying, but it sounds like she's laughing, and I'm like,
Maybe she is.
what?
Maybe she is.
You knew my mom? Dude, oh my, I hate the show so much.
You knew my mom? Oh god, the whole trans
The
teacher
script is
scene,
bad
just, it's,
because
oh no.
there is a specific part at the beginning of the show. This is the first episode. First of all, there was no pilot, which is another reason why it made the show so terrible. Is because there was no pilot. It was just, oh, the show exists now.
Yeah, maybe they knew
It's
it
not
would perform
necessarily
poorly,
a
so
bad
that's why
appro-
they didn't bother with the pilot.
Another thing is, that's not necessarily a bad approach. Just kind of foregoing a pilot.
Well, yeah.
But the main problem is it doesn't establish itself very well if you just kind of try to throw somebody into the middle of it, unless that's your intention. If your intention is to be jarring, then yeah, go ahead, just throw the viewers right in. It'll work out, trust me. But if your intention is to build into your show, you're probably going to want a pilot purely because that's the purpose of a pilot. It sets the premise, sets the characters, all of that fun stuff. And this is where the horrible writing from what I've already seen of only the first episode begins to come in.
The script...
They establish...
Go ahead.
They establish nothing. Well, that's not entirely true. They attempt to establish several things that they honestly shouldn't be establishing in episode 1, while establishing nothing that they should have established in episode 1. So, yeah. I'll get into that in a moment. Right now we're still on script, though. So.
Okay, the script is also equally as bad. There is a specific part in the beginning where they've arrived in the new area that they wanted to be in. And they are there for probably a day and a half.
Yeah.
So as
And
soon
then-
as they wake
Oh,
up
God.
from being there for
Rosemary
maybe
goes
about
to the fucking
3
window
hours.
and she's like,
She
"We're
goes-
here."
She goes to the window, looks. Well, first of all, she wakes up and goes whack, which is like the what? Why? Don't. No. No one wakes up and makes that sound.
Why?
No one wakes up and goes quack.
I mean,
people don't do
I
that.
do.
I mean, I might
go
start
quack when
doing
I
that
wake up.
purely to
Yeah.
spite you.
I've that's how I've woken up every morning.
And
since
she
the day I
goes
was
to the
born.
window and says, "We're here." And I was watching this for the first time with you, Val, and we both looked at each other and were like, "What the fuck?"
I mean, I don't know. Maybe she has some sort of like mental disorder that prevents her from perceiving time correctly. I don't know.
I'm sorry, but
I really don't know.
But the ability
seems
to perceive
accident
time
prone
has
enough.
nothing
I'm
to
not-
do with the fact that you cannot perceive where you are.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe no. Wait.
You see, I know what their
Rosemary has dementia confirmed. Wait.
Anyway, I know what their intention was, and their intention was to try to establish the concept of, oh hey, they've been wanting to be here for super long time, so we're gonna make it so they go like, oh, we're finally here, whoa. Except they fail miserably on the delivery because they can't pick a good time to do it. You generally want to have your characters be in awe of such a situation, not either the morning after or the day that they arrive.
Yeah, and another one of my favorite lines, not because it's actually funny, but because it wasn't supposed to be funny, is a line when they're leaving their town. Rosemary, I think, says something like, "Our town has been this our town looks so small from here," and then her friend goes and
Sage
says,
is
"Maybe
like,
it's been small like this the whole time," and me and
"Maybe
Val
it's
just
been
started
small
laughing
this whole time.
because, first of all, how do you not know that your town is small? You've lived in it for literally your whole life, and you don't know how small it is? Also, if you were to look at the picture of the town, it is not small. It is actually quite large.
I feel like if you've lived in a particular area for your entire life, you'd have a pretty good concept of its size. If anything, you'd probably think it was much smaller than it actually was.
Yeah,
If you've lived there your whole fucking life.
yeah, that'd make
Your
a lot more sense.
concept of just this show is beyond me. I can't.
Then again, who knows? Maybe they were both shut-ins, and that's why they're so shocked by the size of the town. Maybe they
mean-
were both shut-ins, expecting
hey,
something much
I think
bigger.
you're onto something. I think you're onto something because the way that they talk to the other characters in the series is so fucking unnatural. It sounds like they've never opened their mouths to speak to another human being in their entire life.
Whoa! I may have just
Whoa.
confirmed the greatest theory in the show's history.
I think you did. I think it's entirely intentional. I think the storyboard writers know what the fuck they're doing.
Whoa.
See, Rosemary and Sage are shut-ins. Rosemary, poor girl, has dementia. She's only, what? I don't fucking know, 12? And she's already off to university? This is awful. She's been a shut-in her entire life. She doesn't even know what school is like, and she's being thrown into this magical, chaotic world of witchcraft and she doesn't know what's going on. She hasn't seen her aunties in years. Her mom's dead.
A 12-year-old
I didn't
a
pay
12-year-old shut in with dementia that goes to fucking university. That's a concept.
Okay, now we're gonna
God.
get in. Okay,
Like, no
we're gonna
wonder
That's
get
he
a
in,
doesn't know how to
fucking
talk to people.
concept.
we're gonna get into the more sensitive stuff now about the show. I'm gonna let Val take this because they have personal experience with this stuff. Val, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, Professor Caraway, thank you for asking. So, what's his fucking name? Mr. Caraway? Professor? What's his title?
I truly don't remember.
I didn't fucking pay attention. He's named after some fucking spice, as all of them are. Well, no,
Nope,
not
nope,
all of them.
that's
They're
not a
also
true
named
statement.
after herbs. Rosemary and sage are now spices, apparently.
Oh yeah, apparently.
Yeah. So, can we talk about really quickly how the four like main protagonists of the show, so the blue and pink-haired girls, and then the tiny little blonde one, and then the one with the taller one with the red hair, that's the small blonde one's roommate, are all named parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme, respectively. And throughout the at least the first episode, from what I've seen, they'll play a little musical motif in the background, that sounds a lot like Scarborough Fair, and this is more of a personal qualm that I have with the show, because I love that song, and this show has thoroughly ruined it for me. It's such a good folk song, and it's just ruined. I can't listen to it ever again. But anyway, Professor Fuckface is
That's the name now, Professor Fuckface.
yeah.
That's
So
permanent.
he's
That's
basically
sticking.
a self-insert of the show's creator, I think. Well, yeah, he's a self-insert.
Oh, those are always good to have in your stories. Whoa.
Yeah. I mean, self-inserts can be good. It's just
Yeah,
that most
they're
of the
not
time they're
necessarily
done
bad. It's
horribly
just
wrong.
most of the time they are.
Yeah, yeah. Like this one. This is a great example of what not to do. So Professor Caraway, is trans. He's a trans guy. Which is pretty cool. If it weren't for the fact that that's his only character trait, is the fact that he's trans. So he's like, there's this entire scene. It's like the only scene that he gets in the entire show, where he sits Rosemary down for a nice little talk, and she's like, "You knew my mom?" And she's flipping through pictures, and she's like, "Oh, who is this girl? Like, is this your sister?" And he's like, "No, that's me, pre-transition." And she's like, "Whoa,
You're
that's
a
pretty
girl?
cool." And you're a girl? And he's like, he's like
this
educating
also-
her on what a trans person is,
and the way
she's-
that he delivered. Also, the you have to find voice actors that match the way that your characters look.
which,
Especially when it comes to animated shows like that. That is a extreme quality that you need to have.
yeah, especially considering he's a self-insert. Like he doesn't even if you're gonna make a self-insert, at least do it correctly. He doesn't even look like you. He looks nothing like you. He sounds like you. He doesn't look anything like. I don't know.
Anyway,
but
back-
that's the only scene that he gets in the entire show, is just him educating Rosemary on what a trans person is.
And the way that he delivers the line,
Yeah.
literally gave me shivers because it embarrassed me.
Yeah, it made me shudder. I'm not
it-
even a voice
because
actor.
it was
I
just like-
ugh.
Stop.
Yeah. Please. Oh God. He just. If you're going for representation and his only character trait is the fact that he's trans, that's not representation. That's just creating a character for the purposes of being an archetype through which to educate the audience on a particular issue. That if that's your character's only purpose in the show, that's not a good character. That's not good writing, and you don't even have an excuse for it because the very person that wrote the show is the guy that voices Professor fucking Caraway. I just
And see, that's
if
the
your
whole
goal
point of the
is
show.
to bring
It's-
your goal is to be diverse and uh, just give your audience characters to relate to and connect with the show more, don't say, oh hey, Professor Caraway is trans and that's his only fucking personality trait.
And another thing,
And by the way, he also, what was my point? You said something.
I
and
was
lost
I
my
was
train of
about
thought.
to get into what I think you were about to say, is that the fact that it was magic, and
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's like, oh, once a month I just bibbity bobbity boo it the fuck up, and then I have the body of my dreams. That's I transitioned because Hocus Pocus. That's all I have to do. No stabby stab with the testosterone. No, none of the titty skittles. None of it. I didn't have to go through the hardship of anything regarding what it's like being trans. I just waved a wand, and Alakazam, I'm here. Fucking. It's not even. He's not even a relatable fucking character. He just speed ran being trans.
That's my whole issue with the show. It's another whole issue I have with the show, where it tries to give you relatable characters. It tries to resonate with people. It tries to be diverse, but it can't be diverse when 99% of the production team was only women. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. What I'm saying is that the fact that the show was trying to be diverse and there was only one gender working on the show, that's what bothers me.
Yeah, if you're generally, not always, but generally speaking, if your production team isn't also diverse, you're gonna have a harder time making your show equally as diverse if you're not getting, a multitude of different opinions on the creation of the show itself, if you're only looking through, one fucking lens.
Yeah, that's kind of
it's a bit harder.
that's kind of just
It's
not how this
generally
shit
a good
works.
idea not to do that. It's generally a good idea to get a multitude of different people on the team so that you can have varying amounts of opinions and views on what goes into the show so that you can write better characters based on the personal experiences of the people you're working with.
I mean, if the writers don't change, I don't think they would have been able to write better characters even with varying opinions. So
That's fair too.
let's be real.
But it would have helped significantly, if nothing else. It wouldn't have raised the show from negative F tier to, something else.
It would have gone
that
from negative
wasn't
F to
negative
negative
F
D
tier.
minus.
Yeah. Not a huge improvement, but it would have done something for the show.
Mhm.
If they had just diversified the production crew. But no. I get where you're going with that, though.
Y'all want me to get into writing now, or?
Yeah, go ahead.
Please do. Please
Oh,
do.
um,
Pop
well,
off. Let's go.
as I said, I've only actually seen the first episode because I couldn't sit down to watch this shit any longer. It was so painful to watch that
Oh,
the
how far
first
did you get?
episode felt like it took like an hour to finally finish. I
How
was
far did you get?
cringing every waking second of that show.
Oh.
So, the writing is awful. If you didn't already know that, I'm pretty sure it's quite clear though. Anyway, so let's first cover the most obvious problems. They fail to set up absolutely anything. So, yeah. They set up their like protagonist's most generic goal possible, but then they also achieve it in the exact same episode. So that's the first issue here. Because, protagonists want to go to this one school. I don't fucking remember the specifics. Oh, well, they're already going. That's what the entire first episode is. It's them going to that location. Whoa. So, that is probably the worst decision because they didn't establish any other character motivations other than that. I mean, they kind of hinted at a whole Rosemary wants to find her mother thing, but,
Yeah.
even then...
Everything about this show is just so painfully disjointed.
And I want to
Yeah.
make it clear that Xander has only seen the first episode.
Oh, you couldn't even sit through the second?
No,
I don't
I
blame
couldn't.
you.
I couldn't
Oh,
sit
God.
through anything more than that first
Oh
episode.
God.
I had to go find something good to watch online to bleach my eyes after that. That was awful.
That's fair.
Ugh.
Oh
So,
God.
anyway, yeah. I've only seen the first episode and a couple of video essays because I'm too lazy to actually sit down and watch the show because it's just that fucking bad. So, anyway, and as I was saying, they failed to establish any form of character motivation without resolving it almost immediately, except for, as I said, the whole Rosemary wants to find her mother thing. But that's the problem here. They attempt to establish tragic backstory for Rosemary with the whole, oh, her mother's gone for fuck all reasons, possibly even dead. Well, boo-hoo. There's a problem here.
By the
We don't
way,
even
just
know
a
the
quick
characters. How are we supposed to care?
insert. When the mom supposedly dies, she 100% looks like she wants to die. She could have
Yeah.
jumped out of the way, but she doesn't. And
She
it's
looks
the
at
funniest
Rosemary. She looks at Rosemary with the biggest fucking smile plastered onto her face.
Good luck.
She's ready to leave. She is ready to leave this mortal plane. She's like, I can't deal with your bullshit anymore, girl. I'm fucking out of here. I'm on
Personal
my way to
headcanon here.
OxyClean my eyeballs.
Personal headcanon here. She wanted to be offed so that she could disappear for a little while, so she didn't have to be a part of this shit show.
Yeah.
Sadly, she appeared in the second episode.
But I
Yeah.
wouldn't know this because I hate it so much that I can't sit down to watch that
Oh,
second
that's
episode.
fair.
So
Yeah.
Anyway.
I don't know if I could sit through the third one either. After the second, I was about no. I actually did. I pulled my both of my eyeballs out of their sockets just for the occasion and dunked them in a bleach solution with Dawn dish soap.
Me and
Oh,
Val,
nice.
Yeah.
Val were watching the second episode, and Val had to stop us from watching it because we were both livid with it.
Yeah.
That
We
is-
couldn't even make it through the second episode. I'm like, I think we need to take a break. This is
I couldn't
was
make
this
it
is
through
not
the movie.
healthy.
at the
This
voice.
is not good for our mental health right now. We're getting way too fucking pissed at this. And for a good reason, but still, it's not good for our health. And I think we need to stop.
Also, that
I think that
tiefling
pretty- I think
teacher
that
is
sums up-
just
She's
too
hot. So she, I think that pretty much sums up the show. It's not good for your health.
Can we talk about the fucking rating?
TV.
The
Wait, what
rating
was it
makes
again?
no
like
sense.
TVY7? What was it?
Yeah.
No, because it says that it's like there's
yeah.
some explicit content, and
The
like for the
like
first
PG-13
few
every
episodes, it's like
episodes is the funniest shit.
Yeah.
It's like
It's the
this
funniest shit.
looks like
yeah.
it has like something like what you said, Val, is that it has trouble finding its demographic.
Yeah. It thinks it plays itself like it's a
Like a
like
Disney
it's
show.
like a Disney show. Yeah.
It looks
For,
like a Disney show.
and then in the middle of like every 10 minutes or so, it like suddenly remembers the trigger warning at the beginning of the episode, and it's like, oh right, fuck, blood and gore, and then they move on to lighter
Stabby,
content.
stabby, stabby, stabby.
Yeah, just anyway. Just oh no.
And now
Anyway.
that's over to justify our PG-13 rating. Back to rainbows and unicorns.
Yeah, that's the vibe I was getting from the first episode alone.
It has trouble deciding what its target demographic is, I think.
Another anime, I guess it's an anime that I used to love. Xander, you used to love it too. Was something called Ruby. It was the first 3 volumes. We won't get too much into it. The first 3 volumes were fine. They were good. I love them. They are fucking amazing. The music is awesome. It started to fall off around around volume 4. Volume 4 was okay. It wasn't great, but it gave insight into some of the characters, and I was like, oh, that's pretty interesting. I didn't know that. And then Volume 5 was kind of like, okay, this is kind of dragging on for a little bit longer than I wanted it to. And then they've got Volume 6 where it's like, oh, you guys are still going? Oh, this character's still alive? What? And then Volume 7, where it's like, okay.
To which character are you referring to when you're like, oh, this character's still alive?
I'm referring to Neo. Even though I was 100% on board with Neo being alive, I was so excited.
I see. Fair enough. Anyway. But, yeah, I'm trying so hard not to really start talking about the writing, because if I do, we'll be here all day. Like, let's put it this way. 2 topics that I could very much turn into entire podcasts of just me lecturing you guys on the topics are the writing of Ruby and Fate lore. We'd be here all day if I started talking about either.
We will have 2 separate episodes planned out for that. So get to writing, Xander.
Hell yeah.
Anyway, I think we've come up on our a good amount of time. We're about 50 minutes in.
We could end this on a more positive note.
On a more positive note. All right. How do you want to end it on a positive note?
Well, gee, I don't know. You're the host here, so.
Yeah, gee Willikers, I'm pretty sure you're the host.
You're right. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the first episode of People Don't Say Words. Sadly, people did say words, but eventually
we said quite
won't.
a few words.
Yes, quite
Eventually,
a few.
none of us will. Death is inevitable.
Existential dread.
It's not dread.
I know.
Welcome death with open arms.
Same. Welcome to the club.
This has been
Anyway.
And I'm not saying that to be edgy either. We have dinner every Sunday. Death
nice.
And I. We sit in the canoe on the Styx River, and I just break out the bento boxes. It's great.
Damn, I can only visit once a month or so. I can't visit that often.
Yeah.
Must be
Well,
nice.
I'm special. I'm built different, so.
I could tell.
Anyway, you were continue with the outro, please.
Anyway, this has been the first video and podcast episode of the Three Rats Productions YouTube channel. We'll be posting different kinds of content on here later on. But I hope everyone enjoyed. We've all three of us have been planning to do this for a little while, and I'm really excited. I'm hoping this turns out really well once I put all of the audio together. This has been People Don't Say Words. I've been your host, Alex. Again, my two co-hosts were Xander.
Hello. Again.
And Valerie.
Goodbye.
Nice.
Outro. What should I say for the outro?
Nothing. You should just be like, what should I say for the outro? Immediately cut off.
Yeah.
This is the part where we don't say words.